What if we told you that in the space of a single heartbeat, one woman's whispered prayer could topple an empire's cruelest decree? That a moment of trembling faith could stand between an entire people and their annihilation. This is the breathtaking true story of Queen Esther, a tale where hidden identities collide with deadly conspiracies, where divine timing orchestrates the impossible, and where one orphan girl's courage rewrote the fate of nations. The Persian Empire stretched like a golden spider's web across the ancient world, connecting 127 provinces from India's spice markets to Ethiopia's ivory towers. In his fortress palace of Susa, King Xerxes ruled not just with authority, but with the expectation of worship. For 180 endless days, he displayed his kingdom's wealth and festivities that made gods themselves envious. But on the seventh night, when wine had transformed wisdom into foolishness and power into peril, the king made a decision that would shatter everything.
Bring me Queen Vashti, so every man in my kingdom can see the treasure that belongs to me.
The 7 royal eunuchs received this unprecedented command with horror barely concealed behind their professional masks. They carried this shameful message to Queen Vashti's chambers, where dignity would soon meet its defining moment. In her private chambers, Queen Vashti sat surrounded by her handmaidens, embodying the dignity and grace her husband had forgotten. When the royal eunuch delivered the king's degrading command, the very air seemed to hold its breath.
I will not be summoned like a common servant. My dignity is not for his amusement.
That single word cracked the foundation of an empire built on absolute obedience. The king's rage burned like wildfire, but his counselor Memucan saw opportunity in the flames.
Your Majesty, Queen Vashti has not merely wronged you. She has lit a flame of rebellion in every woman's heart across your empire. When wives hear of this defiance, chaos will consume your kingdom. You must strip her of her crown and give it to one more worthy before she strips you of your power.
The king, his judgment clouded by wine and wounded pride, signed Vashti's fate with trembling, rage-filled hands. When morning came and wine's haze lifted, regret crept into the king's heart like poison. But the irreversible law of the Medes and Persians had already sealed Vashti's fate.
Your Majesty, let us search your empire for the most beautiful young maidens. Bring them to your palace. Let them receive the finest beauty treatments for 12 months, and the one who pleases you most shall become your new queen.
And so began the greatest beauty search in history, as soldiers swept through the empire like a net gathering human pearls, forever changing the destiny of a young Jewish woman named Hadassah. In Susa's Jewish quarter, where ancient songs echoed off stone walls and memories of Jerusalem burned bright in exile hearts, lived Mordecai the Benjamite, carrying the weight of his people's history in weathered hands. His hands told stories of survival, calloused from labor that sustained life in a foreign land, yet gentle enough to braid his orphan cousin's hair with the tenderness of the father she'd never known. Esther, called Hadassah in the secret language of her heart, grew like a hidden flower in Babylon's garden, her beauty reflecting not just physical grace but the inner light of her faith.
Remember, my daughter, in this empire, difference can mean death. Keep our heritage close to your heart, but hidden from their eyes. Promise me you'll guard this secret as your life depends on it, because it does.
I promise, Uncle Mordecai. But what if they discover who we really are? What if I'm not strong enough to carry this secret?
Trust in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, little star. He has not forgotten his people in this foreign land, and he will not forget you. Sometimes he places us exactly where we need to be, even when we cannot see his plan.
When Persian soldiers arrived in the Jewish quarter like predators hunting beauty, Esther found herself chosen, not for her heritage, which remained hidden, but for the grace that no disguise could conceal. As Esther walked toward the palace, each step taking her further from the only world she'd known, Mordecai's final words echoed in her mind like a sacred covenant.
Across the land, new hopes begin their journey.
Listen to the words of the king.
In a palace home where beauty became both currency and prison, Esther encountered Higai, the king's chief eunuch, whose experienced eyes saw beyond surface appearances to character beneath.
You are different from the others, child. There's strength in your gentleness, wisdom in your silence. I shall provide you with the finest treatments, 7 chosen maids, and the best quarters. Something tells me you will need every advantage I can give you.
While other maidens focused obsessively on external beauty, Esther cultivated something far more precious, the grace that comes from serving others and the strength that flows from secret prayer. For 12 months, each maiden underwent intensive preparation. 6 months with oil of myrrh to perfect the skin, 6 months with perfumes and cosmetics to enchant the senses. But Esther's preparation included disciplines the others never attempted. One by one, hopeful maidens enter the king's presence with elaborate preparations and desperate strategies. One by one, they return to the harem with dreams dissolved and futures uncertain. When Esther's nurse arrived, she prepared not with desperation but with prayer, understanding that her true beauty came not from ornamentation but from the peace that passes understanding.
God of my fathers, if I must stand before this earthly king, let it be as your servant, not for my own glory. I am nothing without you, but with you, even nothing can become something beautiful. Let your will be done through this unworthy vessel. God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I am nothing but an orphaned girl in borrowed clothes. Yet you have placed me here for this moment. If you can use me to save your people, I surrender everything, my crown, my life, my future. Let your will be done through this unworthy vessel.
She entered the throne room cloaked in simple elegance and quiet dignity, asking for nothing beyond Haggai's wise counsel, carrying herself not as a contestant, but as a woman secure in her identity. When King Xerxes looked upon Esther, something stirred in his heart that wine and power had never touched. Recognition of genuine beauty that needed no enhancement, character that required no performance.
There's something different about you. What is your name? No, wait, I can see it in your bearing.
She is the one. She shall be queen.
Mordecai instructs Esther to conceal her heritage. Wisdom whispers where faith must
Meanwhile,
wait.
Mordecai took his daily post at the king's gate, love driving him to watch over his adopted daughter from whatever distance palace protocol allowed. Providence works in mysterious ways. One day, as Mordecai maintained his faithful watch, he overheard whispers that would save a king's life and change the course of history.
Tonight, when the king takes his evening wine in the garden pavilion, the dagger will find its mark.
And by morning, the empire will have new leadership that remembers its debts. Our patience will finally be rewarded with the gold we've been promised.
Mordecai's blood ran cold as he grasped the implications. His king's life hung by a thread, and only he possessed knowledge to cut the assassin's plot before they could cut the king's throat. Through trusted channels, word reached Queen Esther of the deadly plot threatening her husband's life.
My lord, I must speak. There is a plot against your life.
A plot? Who would dare?
Urgent intelligence has reached me through my cousin Mordecai, who serves faithfully at your gate. Tonight, your trusted guards Bigthana and Tarish plan to take your life during your evening wine. They have been corrupted by gold and promises of position under new leadership.
King's investigation proved the conspiracy true. Both guards met swift justice, and Mordecai's loyalty was recorded in the royal chronicles, an act that seemed routine then, but would prove divinely orchestrated later. In the maze of palace politics, few figures cast shadows as dark as Haman the Agagite, whose ancestral hatred for the Jewish people burned in his veins like inherited poison. King Xerxes elevated him to the highest position in the empire, like placing a loaded weapon in the hands of a man already planning murder. By royal decree, all who encountered Haman were commanded to bow, not merely in respect, but in worship of his authority. All bowed before him, except one man whose faith forbade him from worshipping any mortal as a god. Day after day, this quiet act of conscience became thunder in Haman's ears, each sight of Mordecai's upright form stoking fires of rage that would soon consume reason itself.
Every honor means nothing. Every privilege becomes ash in my mouth. How can I enjoy the king's favor when that stubborn Jew mocks my authority by simply standing? His very existence is an insult to everything I've achieved.
Haman's twisted mind conceived something far beyond personal vengeance. If one Jew could cause such offense, why not eliminate the source of Jewish defiance forever?
Why does that man, Mordecai, defy me?
Why destroy one man when I can erase an entire people? Why settle for individual revenge when I can achieve a permanent solution to the Jewish problem? Let me cast lots to find the most auspicious day for their complete annihilation.
The lots tumbled and settled on the 13th day of Adar, nearly a full year away, giving time for methodical preparation of the most comprehensive genocide in human history. With serpentine cunning, Haman approached King Xerxes, wrapping genocide in the language of political necessity and imperial security.
Right. There is a certain group of people scattered among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom who keep themselves separate. A simple decree.
Grant me authority to eliminate this threat to your crown, and I personally guarantee 10,000 talents of silver for your royal treasury, enough to fund new armies, build magnificent cities, or expand your empire's glory beyond anything your predecessors achieved.
The money is yours to keep, Hammond, and the people are yours to deal with as you see fit. Use my signet ring. Let no one question your authority in this matter.
The decree that emerged was methodical in its evil. Every Jewish man, woman, child, and infant throughout 127 provinces was to be killed on a single day, their property seized, their memory erased from history. Swift couriers throughout 127 provinces was to be killed on a single day, their property seized, their memory erased from history. While in the palace, King Xerxes and Haman sat drinking wine, toasting their efficient solution to imperial diversity.
A fine plan.
But as news spread through Jewish communities across the empire, a different reality took hold. Families faced with extinction, children marked for death, a people confronting their darkest hour since Egyptian bondage. When the decree reached Mordecai, his response was immediate and visceral, the careful composure of years shattered by the magnitude of threatened genocide. He tore his clothes as if his heart had been ripped from his chest, covered himself in sackcloth and ashes like a man already mourning the dead, and wailed through Susa's streets with the voice of a dying nation. Throughout the empire, Jewish communities joined this mourning, fasting, weeping, praying with the desperation of people who had nowhere else to turn except to the God of their fathers. In the palace, insulated from her people's anguish by walls of marble and protocols of royalty, Queen Esther heard disturbing reports of Mordecai's public breakdown. Through Hathach, her most trusted eunuch, she sent fine cloths to replace Mordecai's mourning garments, not yet understanding that this grief could not be comforted by royal generosity. But Mordecai refused the royal gifts, his grief too deep for such simple remedies. Through Hathach, he sent Esther the full text of Haman's genocidal decree. When Esther read every word of that monstrous document, her world tilted on its axis. Her hidden people, her secret family, her own blood marked for systematic extinction.
There is but one law: to be put to death.
She must approach the king uninvited and plead for her people's lives.
Anyone who approaches the king without being summoned faces immediate death.
Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape.
What if his affection has cooled? What if my uninvited appearance angers him? I could die for nothing, and my people would still face destruction.
Then came Mordecai's response.
For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this.
Those 6 words struck Esther's heart like lightning from heaven. For such a time as this, transforming her understanding from coincidence to divine appointment, from accident to destiny. Esther's response revealed the depth of her character. This wasn't political maneuvering, but spiritual warfare.
I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish.
Gather all the Jews in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night and day. My maids and I will do the same. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish.
Oh Lord, I am not worthy, but I trust in your power to use even me for your divine purpose.
For 3 days and nights, an entire community fasted and prayed with desperate intensity, seeking the face of the God who had delivered their ancestors from Egypt. On the 3rd day, Esther prepared for what might be her final act. Dressing, not just in royal robes, but in the armor of faith, each step toward the throne room a prayer.
My God, grant me favor in the king's eyes. Protect your people.
Each breath an act of trust. The walk through palace corridors had never felt longer, each step taking her further from safety and closer to a throne that could mean deliverance or death.
I am walking not toward a man, but toward my appointment with destiny.
She stepped into the golden hall where power lived and breathed, where King Xerxes sat upon his throne with the scepter of life and death resting in his royal hand. For an eternal moment, their eyes met across that vast space. King and queen, husband and wife, power and supplication frozen in time, while the universe held its breath.
What is your request, Queen Esther? Whatever it is, I will give it to you.
Even up to half my kingdom.
But Esther's response revealed masterful wisdom, understanding that timing was everything in the delicate dance of divine deliverance.
If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet that I have prepared for him.
That evening, in chambers adorned with silk and gold, 3 figures gathered around a banquet that would reshape the course of history, though only one knew the true stakes involved.
Now, what is your petition? It shall be granted you.
Up to half the kingdom, it shall be yours.
My petition and my request is this.
if it pleases the king.
Let the king and Haman come tomorrow to the banquet I will prepare for them. Then I will do as the king has said.
I feel the power coursing through me. I am invincible.
Haman departed the palace walking on air, intoxicated by more than wine.
Have been promoted above all the other officials. Even Queen Esther invited only me to accompany the king.
Can you imagine? To dine alone with the king and queen, not once, but twice. What honor could be greater?
But as he passed the king's gate, Mordecai still standing upright, still refusing the worship Haman craved, still denying the submission he demanded.
All my wealth, all my sons, all my honors from the king.
Yet all this means nothing to me, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
Then end this torment, my husband. Build a gallows 75 feet high, tall enough for all Susa to witness your triumph. In the morning, ask the king to hang Mordecai upon it. Then go to your banquet with a heart free from this burden.
Seems the only reasonable solution to this problem we face.
Then it is decided we proceed as planned.
Yes, build the gallows. We'll hang him high.
Through the night, the sound of construction echoed through Susa as carpenters built what they believed would be Mordecai's tomb, but which Providence was preparing for a very different purpose. King Xerxes lay awake.
I cannot sleep.
Another restless night.
Sleep fleeing from him like a frightened bird, his mind troubled by unnamed anxieties.
Bring me the book of records. Perhaps the voices of history will grant me the rest that eludes me tonight.
One entry caught the king's attention like lightning, illuminating darkness.
In those days, while Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, became angry and conspired to assassinate King Xerxes. But the plot was discovered by Mordecai, who told Queen Esther, and she informed the king.
Stop. What honor and recognition has Mordecai received for saving my life? What reward has been given to this man who prevented my assassination?
Nothing has been done for him, your majesty. No honor, no reward, no recognition has been given for this service.
It is written that Mordecai, the Jew, who had saved the king's life, received no reward or honor for his loyalty.
The king's mind raced with implications. The very man Haman planned to execute had once saved the royal life. Divine irony was about to unfold with devastating precision. As dawn painted the palace walls gold, Haman arrived early, his heart singing with murderous anticipation, eager to request permission for Mordecai's execution. But before Haman could voice his deadly request, the king posed a question that would shatter all his plans.
Haman, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor?
Who could this honored man be but himself? Who else had earned such royal favor? His vanity blinded him to the trap Providence was weaving.
For the man the king delights to honor, let a royal robe be brought, one the king himself has worn, and a horse the king has ridden, one with the royal crest upon its head. Then let this robe and horse be entrusted to one of the king's most noble princes, who will array the man and lead him on horseback through the city square, proclaiming before him, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor."
The king's response fell like a thunderbolt, shattering Haman's dreams with devastating precision.
Excellent. Go at once, get the robe and the horse, and do exactly as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect anything you have recommended.
Mordecai. Yes, an excellent choice.
The words hit Haman like physical blows. The very man he planned to hang, he was now commanded to honor in the most public, humiliating way possible. Haman dressed his enemy in royal robes, led him through Susa's streets on the king's horse, and proclaimed the words that tasted like poison in his mouth.
This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.
Thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delights to honor.
What Haman intended as his day of triumph became his day of public humiliation.
The king has spoken. Justice is served.
That evening, still reeling from the morning's humiliation, Haman attended Esther's second banquet, his pride shattered, his confidence destroyed, yet unaware that worse devastation awaited. Queen Esther had never appeared more regal, more mysterious, more beautiful, as if the weight of her people's destiny had transformed her from mere woman into instrument of divine justice.
Now, Queen Esther, what is your petition? What is your request? Even up to half my kingdom, it shall be granted.
This was the moment divine providence had orchestrated.
If I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be granted meeting.
This is my petition, and spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had merely been sold as slaves, I would have remained silent, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king.
Who is he? Where is this man who has dared to do such a thing? Who has the audacity to threaten my queen and her people?
This wicked Haman is our adversary and our enemy.
Terror filled Haman's eyes as the magnitude of his exposure dawned. The queen he'd planned to kill was the very woman whose people he'd marked for genocide. The king's fury exploded like a volcano.
How dare you defy me? How could you betray me? You will pay
The king
for
stormed
this
into the
treachery.
palace garden to process the devastating revelation that his most trusted advisor had planned his wife's murder. Left alone with the woman whose death he had decreed, Haman threw himself at Esther's feet, begging for mercy from the very person he had marked for extinction.
Your Majesty, please.
Please, I beg you, spare my life.
At that fatal moment, King Xerxes returned to find what appeared to be Haman assaulting his queen, the final straw that sealed the villain's doom.
Will he even molest the queen while she is with me in the house? Has his evil no boundaries?
Therefore, I condemn you to death.
Servants immediately covered Haman's face with cloth, the ancient sign of a man condemned to death, his fate sealed by his own evil ambitions.
Your Majesty, there stands by Haman's house a gallows 75 feet high, which he built for Mordecai, very man who saved your life.
Haman, you shall hang on the very gallows you prepared.
Hang him on it.
Haman died on his own gallows, but his genocidal decree remained in effect. The unchangeable law of the Medes and Persians still condemned every Jew to death. King Xerxes elevated Mordecai to Haman's former position, placing the royal signet ring on the hand of the man who had been marked for death just hours before.
My lord king,
We must act now. My people are in danger, and I will use my position to protect them.
write a new decree in your name and seal it with your ring. Give our people the right to defend themselves against any who would attack them on the appointed day.
The new decree granted Jews throughout the empire the right to assemble, defend themselves, and destroy any armed force that might attack them or their families. Swift couriers raced across the empire, carrying hope instead of death. When the 13th day of Adar arrived, the day chosen by Haman's lots for Jewish extinction, instead of hiding in terror, Jews throughout the empire stood ready to defend their families, their communities. By day's end, 75,000 enemies had fallen across the empire. The Jews took no plunder. In Susa itself, 500 attackers fell, including Haman's 10 sons, who died on the same gallows their father had built, the complete end of a genocidal bloodline. The following day became a festival unlike any the empire had ever witnessed, spontaneous celebrations erupting as news of deliverance spread like wildfire, which became instead the Day of Deliverance. What began as one man's hatred and one woman's courage became a story that has inspired millions across more than 2 millennia, proving that ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things when aligned with divine purpose.
Let these days be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city.
Esther's journey from orphan girl to powerful queen, from hidden identity to bold advocate, from potential victim to ultimate victor, continues to echo through time. Her story teaches timeless truths. Divine timing places us where we need to be. Courageous faith overcomes impossible odds, and individual actions can change the course of history when aligned with heaven's purposes. Today, in our own families, workplaces, and communities, each of us faces moments when we must choose between comfortable silence and costly courage, between personal safety and moral responsibility.
Like Esther, you may not know what tomorrow holds, but you can trust the one who holds tomorrow.
And who knows, perhaps you have come to your position
for such a time as this.
As you've witnessed in this powerful story, courage and faith can reshape destinies and change the course of history. If this story has touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay connected with more incredible stories from StoryVerse. We share edifying content that will inspire, challenge, and empower you to live boldly in faith and purpose. Share this video with friends and spread the word, because everyone deserves to hear that they too have a story to tell, and they're positioned for such a time as this. Thank you for being part of the StoryVerse community. The story continues. History is still being written. Your chapter is still unfolding. What will you do with your...
For such a time as this.
Such a time like this.